we are aiming for bringing initiatives in this ecosystem of the SingularityNET Foundation, and also aims for the decentralization of artificial intelligence to avoid some situations that we all know about it in the Web 2.0, right? What happened. So let me see here. First, I would like to question here, to do a consultation for all of you. Do we have around people, peers, that are coming from different ecosystems for the first time? I mean, we had recently a merge or a tokenomic
You'd
merge.
should be like zero almost always, right? Nothing should have to wait, right?
We had recently we had a tokenomic merge with other platforms as well, which was very successful. We passed it through a voting. And well, do we have anyone that came just for me to understand our audience a little bit further, or all of us are from the current? Okay, Tommy, I see that you are trying to show something. Okay, yeah, nice, nice. Okay, it seems that we are in our conventional community folks, which is also, of course, very welcome. I also see a lot of open cameras, which is nice, right? Very interesting to be able to see your faces and to connect to you. As I mentioned, this is round 4, right? We started with, of course, round 1. We had round 2, which were very successful rounds. Then the round 3, where we had upscaling numbers of proposals being submitted in the round. And we are aiming, of course, to have even further proposals, but also aiming for quality. The quantity is very important, but the quality is very important as well. And you will see during the explanation or the exposure of the Deep Funding round 4 that we are going to have more processes where we can bring more quality to these proposals. After the round 3, we had a very successful as well Deep Funding round 4 beta, where we brought the initiative of not only the voting, but also the submission to our new platform, which was led by Jan. And please, Jan, could you give a small summary of round 4 beta for us to get the context of round 4?
A short summary. It went great.
Yay!
So, no, we had a couple of projects, not too many. It was in a sense, a real round, in the sense that we had real teams and real rewards, so everything was real. It was the first time we tested our new portal. Everything went actually quite well. The feedback that we got from the testers, the teams was actually really good. And the best news is that since then we didn't just sit, we continued to improve. So there's more new and exciting stuff to test out in this round as well. Maybe one thing to point out here is notification system. So we have a notification system, quite elaborate, that will notify you both by mail and in the portal, one mail a day, about all the interactions that are happening with your proposal. So that makes it easier for you to remain in conversation and have quick back and forth with community members that give feedback on your proposal. So I'm looking forward to that. Tomorrow, I expect tomorrow we'll have a new rollout of our latest version of our portal. It will include some changes in the navigation, some changes in the proposal, some other cosmetic changes here and there, quite a number of small changes. And of course, what I just mentioned, this notification system, which you will encounter when you create a proposal. So yeah, I think we're all set, and I'm very excited to see the real Deep Funding Round 4 start very soon. And back to you, Rafael.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Thank you for this indeed short summary of round 4 beta. It was very successful with 9 projects being selected by the community prior filtering that Deep Funding did. And now, as Jan mentioned, we are open to business, let's put it this way, for Deep Funding round 4 with all the news, something that you are going to see for those that are new to this ecosystem is that we experiment a lot. We try a lot, trying to understand the best way of doing things. We are very experimental here in Deep Funding. We are always trying to bring more initiatives to the program in trying to address a lot of issues and matters that imports to the community. For instance, the decentralization that we are always focusing and having more input from the community when doing things. And this drives us into this decentralized and also open feedback from everyone. And by speaking that, today we are going to present the Deep Funding Round 4. I'm going to go through some of the main changes that we had, also the pools. So today I'm presenting the main rules and the pools that we are going to have for this, the amounts and some processes as well. And of course, we are open to hear from you as well, okay? If we are not changing anything structurally or that will bring too much impact that we can, of course, assess and do in the next rounds, we are pretty open to hear. And considering we are going to start the process next Monday on day 22, we still have some room, small room, I would say, to some changes. Okay, so feel very welcome to give your feedback on what we are going to present. Let me now share the screen here with the presentation. Here you go, sharing. I believe you can see, right? The presentation. Yes, first I would love to thank you, the marketing circle, especially Lucas, which was able to come in a short notes that I asked him to do this marvelous design for the presentation. It's not full completely, as I said, it was very short notice, but now we are already having, as I mentioned it, guys, we are doing as we fly, right? So it's very good to have and know that we can rely on community members from this strategy and also that are part to do such nice things for us. Okay, we have here now the scheduled time. We are, as I mentioned, starting we are going to open our platform, the new one on April 22. You are going to be able to access, create your accounts, navigate, even start proposing with the proposals for the pools, okay? And even receive feedback from the community, from specific members from the circles. Most of you already know about the review circle, so they are also going to be during this submission period going through the proposals and making inputs and feedbacks for you to improve it, okay? It's slightly different from what we had last time on round 3, where we had a specific time to give review 1 and review 2. Now we are going to do this ongoing. It's not a mandatory step for the review circle to give you feedback on your proposal, but yes, we are really interested in having all of you going through the voting process and being eligible to do that. So it's going to be a coach process for making your proposal eligible and to go to the voting. The submission period itself will start the Monday after this one on the 29 April. We are going to have then 3 weeks of submission afterwards, okay? So in total, you will have 4 weeks to interact with the community, to review your submission, to receive feedback from the members, as I mentioned, and to have more assurance that you are going to be awarded, right, through the community vote. Then we are going to have the previews for those that are with us from a long time. We used to have the stable period. Now we are calling the review period because it's exactly what's going to happen. We are going to review the proposals from the perspective of eligibility review, but we are also giving the proper time to the community to assess your final, right? Because when we have the submission period ending, you cannot edit anymore, add new proposals or edit the ones that you did. So then we are going to be able to review the final version of your proposal. We are also going to have different perspectives to help the community vote. We are going to have the Spotlight Day, which is the event that the Market Circle organizes in order for you to pitch your proposals to the community, make short videos of this, put in your details page of your proposal for people to watch and be, again, reassured that they are doing the right thing when voting on you. One thing that I would like to reinforce is I would say the need for the proposers to get in contact with the community. I've been seeing a movement from proposers, which is very nice and welcome, where proposals go to the Telegram, Discord, Mattermost, even Twitter, and say, "Hey, this is my proposal. Take a look, see what you think, and vote in me if you think it's nice proposal." So that's a way of dealing, especially during this review period, to bring more awareness on your proposals, okay? Then after this period of review, which will take about 3 weeks with all these processes, which we also are going to have the expert reviewers group, adding a scalable or feedback to the community on your proposal, okay? We are going to launch a blog post explaining further these processes, but also the expert reviews group, where we are going to connect previous awarded team members and community members that were top contributors to the rounds, and bring them to give assessments and short reports on your proposals, giving you a stamp of quality, let's put it this way, on a more subjective format. So this also might bring voters to a better understanding on your proposal and to vote on you. So all of these are going to happen in this review period. It will be a very busy moment for the program itself, okay? When this period ends, after this 3 weeks, we are going to have the voting period itself, right? We are going to have 1 week, leaving voters to vote, decide. They can keep doing their reviews on your proposals, and we are aiming to have the announcement of the awarded teams by June 23. Okay, it can happen in this week, but let's put in a more conservative way that we are going to have the blog post launched with all the awarded teams on the 23. Okay. So moving forward from this schedule, yep, here it's about what deep funding is. All of you already knows, right? At least most of you. So we are about supporting Snet mission and vision towards the decentralized AI, leveraging the AI marketplace that SingularityNET develops, the platform that SingularityNET develops, and feeding with good AI services. So that's the way we do things. We fund good proposals for that, but also to support all the processes that leads into this AI services being onboarded into the platform. Okay. So for deep funding round 4, let me go faster here because I'm pretty sure you guys are willing to know about the numbers, right? So we are upscaling from the previous round of 275,000, if I'm not mistaken, on the test round, 275,000 US dollars. Jan, correct me if I'm not right, to 1,550,000 US dollars in AGIX. Okay, so it's a very big improvement. Of course, now we are going to have more pools and being more structured. That was a test round. That's why we were more conservative in the numbers. But with this new approach of more than 1.5 million US dollars in awards, we are expecting to have also more proposals being submitted, and also this being reflected in the quality. Okay, this amount will be distributed into 6 pools. Pools, for those that are not familiar with the process, are the categories that we previously designed for aiming for this support to the platform, the marketplace, okay, which we are going to go through now. So the specific sizes of pools that we have now, we are going to have the new projects pool, which is the one where we are going to deliver the AI projects itself. It has a max amount, actually the total amount of 1 million. So from that 1.55 million, we are going to have 1 million for the new projects. Each project can request up to $150,000. Okay, that's the max cap per project. Then we are going to have the ideation, and I'm going to discuss further what each pool of this is. The next one being the ideation pool, 75,000, the total amount, 5,000 US dollars per proposal. The marketing pool with a total amount of 100,000, we doubled from the previous round, with a max of 20K per proposal. We are also having a new one, a new pool, which is the miscellaneous pool that I'm going to describe later, with 150K, 150,000 US dollars, and there is no max cap, of course, under the 150K of the total amount per project. Okay. Getting back to a pool that we had previously as well, the community-driven RFPs, with a total of 150,000 US dollars. no max cap per project as well, considering we are dealing with mostly here with knowledge graphs. And another new that's directing our intent of going further with RFPs, which is the RFP design. Okay, the total amount for the RFP design pool is $75,000. Here we have a slight different idea. We want to have a max of 3 projects being awarded. It's not about necessarily the max cap per project. It's more towards the fact that we are going to have 3 projects awarded, a max. Okay, Jan later will talk more about the RFPs for us. Eligibility requirements. We have to be, the proposal has to be aligned with Snet Mission, okay? Decentralized AI marketplace, decentralization and democratization of AI, and etc. These are general requirements that we have. The pool specific requirements, each pool will have specific requirements. Thanks to the new portal that we have now, it's going to be way smooth, the process of applying and understanding these specific requirements, because the portal itself already not filters, but give the guardrail for you to, when you are proposing, even calculations of milestones when they are obliged and etc. So it's going to be easier this time, always improving. Ethical standards, always, okay, we are pretty based into that. Also, some of these ethical standards are also relying on the portal. When you are proposing, it's going to be established there. Financial and legal compliance that we also have to have been aligned. We are going to have agreements, right? We have to sign agreements, and all this process has to be pretty neat. Clear project details. Here we are talking about milestones. We are talking about, we have to give this transparency not only to being awarded, but also with the further step of when you are delivering a milestone, for instance. It has to be clear what you promised for the deep funding structure, being able to assess, for instance. So this is something very important, and that can make a cut or turn your project non-eligible to vote. All these requirements here that you are seeing, they are going to be assessed by the review circle, okay, which is an important part of the deep funding program. They are going to assess your proposals and give a final thumbs up, thumbs down to the proposal on the eligibility status. If you don't follow the necessary requirements, you are not going to pass to the voting stage. So very important. All this is described in our rules that are going to be live on our portal as soon as we finish the town hall here, okay? So you are going to be able to go through the process. We are also making through the through the marketing circle, we are also going with a 2-pager, where we are going to concatenate the information and to manage to be easier for you to understand and grasp the main points of this, okay? Feedback and participations is related to, after being selected, you do have to have an obligation of participate and being transparent for the community, for instance, through meetings, the awarded teams meetings that we have monthly, to being open to hear and to give feedback to the community and deep funding and so on, okay? And be self-sufficient in deployment. You can't rely on deep funding, Snet, personnel resources when deploying your proposal. wherever is the pool, unless this is something that is previously agreed, or if it's something that we are deemed to do. Okay, if you promised something in your proposal, you have to do by yourself. We have the proposal submission guidelines. As I mentioned, community engagement will be part of this. When you submit your proposal, keep attention in what's happening. You are going to receive emails, automatic emails, as Jan mentioned before. You can go there. You don't even have to wait for the daily emails. You can go there and see, oh, so people are commenting, they are giving me some hints and suggestions, so perhaps I should improve and so on. So this is very important. But here, again, we are going to have the review circle, which is a more, let's say, formal feedback from the Deep Funding, where you should really be very, very, very open to hear, because it can define if you're going to be eligible or not, okay, into that. And you are going to have to follow the portal guidance, as I mentioned before. We have mandatory fields, character limits. It is very important to be clear and concise, right? That's why we have this type of situation in the submission portal. Before we jump into the pools, I would like to hear from you. Any questions or, well, feedback from what we said until now? Please feel free to. It's clear? Anything that you would like to see different? Please, Kevin.
Hey, Rafael. Yeah, thanks
Hey.
for going over the highlights. I think I have a question about the the timeline, the schedule. I think, for example, during the review periods, will those also be the opportunity where we have kind of like the town hall to give our pitch?
Yes,
Like, will
that's the
that be
case.
okay?
That's the case, yes. We are going to have the specific spotlight day that we are still discussing this. But for instance, we can, depending on the number of the submissions, we can have two due to the time zones, right?
Yeah.
This is something that it's going to be defined ongoing. But as was mentioned before by Judith, we are now having weekly town halls. So it's also a possibility to discuss with the marketing circle. Then we are now having this it's the case where the team has to be proactive, right? And do this. We provide the structure, but the team has to be proactive into that situation when talking to the marketing circle, for instance. Okay.
Okay. And then the second question is during the review period, like as before, will teams have the ability to like modify, edit their like submissions?
No. When the submission period stop, we are going to, it's not possible to submit anymore or edit your proposal. You are going to have 4 weeks for that, right? From the 22 now until, well, 4 weeks later, where you are going to be able. So that's why it's important for you not only to keep attention on the portal and your proposal feedbacks, but also to go after and foster feedbacks from the community. Go to social media, ask for feedback. This way you are going to be able to improve and improve and improve your proposal. Again, proactiveness in this sense.
But will someone give you the opportunity, like say whether you're like eligible or not? That has to be done during the submission period.
The eligibility itself it's going to happen, the eligibility feedback or decision, it's going to happen in the review period. As I mentioned, we are not going to have a phased process. We are going to give you feedback ongoing, which is not mandatory for us, okay? The proposal is responsibility of each team. We want to help and support, but it's not that we are going to give you a report, necessarily a report for your proposal during the submission period, okay? But yes, the reviewers, I am guiding the reviewers towards the moment where they are going to be very active in the proposals, analyzing, reassessing, taking a looking again, talking to you proposer and say, perhaps you have a different perspective from it, okay? But again, this is a courtesy. It's not something that we are obliged to do, okay? Because ultimately, the responsibility over the proposal is to have it correctly done. Is the responsibility is of the proposer itself, okay? Not from Deep Funding. We are going to assess this during the review period and give a yes or no for the eligibility. That brings me another point as well, which is very important for all the proposers. As soon as you propose, more feedback you are going to receive. So we saw last round 3, actually, we saw many proposals coming in the last week or even less than that. If this happen again, these proposals might not receive much, if at all, feedback from the reviewers. So as soon as you propose, better for you, better for the program, because we are going to be able to structure ourselves. Oh, we are having more proposals, less proposals, and so on, and be able to address this flow. But my suggestion, you can propose 10 minutes before closing the period, but don't expect for reviewers to give, or the community to give feedback on that. And then when the submission period is ended, that's it.
Yeah, so I think I have a quick feedback. Yeah,
Please.
I think if it's only the submission period is the only window of opportunity you can actually submit and edit. I think since it's only 4 weeks, that does not seem like that's too much time. I was thinking like maybe a suggestion could be that maybe in the first week of the review period, it could also be a stable period as well. So there will be no more submissions, but it will still give another week for people to continue to modify and finalize their proposal.
Well, okay, thank you. Thank you for the feedback, Kev. However, here's the thing, right? The rules of eligibility, and just to remember, the eligibility itself, it's related to objective topics, right? Are you in the right pool, for instance? I have a new project, but I am proposing in the ideation, or vice versa. These type of situations are related to the eligibility review itself. It's not about quality or the type of development that you are doing or something like that. So the review members, they are going to be there during the submission period, but we are not going to have well, my point is the rules are clear, right, for this type of objective instances.
Oh, I mean the stable period, like the 1 week stable period, just gives people time to finalize in general, like whatever proposal they have, as example.
I would say that 4 weeks, it's a very good time for that, especially because otherwise we would be postponing again giving more time to the teams to start being awarded and starts the proposal development. So we use it to do that. Actually, we did last time, right? But we are thinking differently now. But let's hear Jan here as well. Please, Jan.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's a balance. First of all, we want to do that eligibility review, and we want to ensure that after we've done that, that not somebody adds 100K to their proposal or something. So if we would postpone that period, then actually we can only start the eligibility review after that extra week. And then you will come to the conclusion that 2 weeks is not enough, because first we have to do the eligibility review, and then we have to do the expert reviews based on that. And then we have to do the spotlight days, etc., etc. So right now, the whole period for a round is about 8 weeks, as you could see, which I think is already pretty long for a whole round. I'd rather have a round in 4 or 6 weeks and do it more quicker. So 8 weeks is already a lot. And a last point, and that's my most important one, what we saw in the last 3 rounds is that I think half of the proposals were submitted in the last 2 days before the deadline. So if all these people would hurry up a little bit and submit it 2 weeks in advance for the end of the submission period, we would already be in a very different situation. So I would say it's in your own hand. You have 1 week of preparation, 3 weeks for interaction with the community. But happy after this round. It's also a new portal. There are new options, etc. Maybe also the feedback notifications will help, because it will be easier to have quick interactions with people because they get notified on feedback. But I'm happy after this round to do evaluation. And if the majority of people will think that we need to have a longer submission period or a different structure, then yeah, I'm all open for that. And I'm sure Rafael is too.
Yes. And by the way, anyone else for hearing? Okay, we are here also to listen, right? As I mentioned in the beginning, 4 weeks is enough for you. What do you think? Again, when we tweak structurally things like this, it might not we might not be able to do at this time, but we can address to the next rounds if the case. But rest assured that we would assess this type of input that you gave. Ubio, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I feel that this particular round is actually even longer. And so for me, I wanted to even say, why is it this long? So hearing that some people would even want a stable period made me to as well ask myself, oh, maybe that was even the right choice, because if he didn't say that, my question would have rather been, why are we making it this long, right? But I just say I said that to mean that so this time around, I think we have the preparation period, we have the submission period. So if we are having the preparation period, then there's no need for the stable period, right? The stable period was relevant because there was no preparation period. So it assumed that people did not really have time, and as such, they needed a stable period to stabilize what they've now put in, right? But we now have a preparation period, and I wouldn't like us to just see that the round starts only when you can click submit, but I guess the round starts when you can actually put on stop for people to begin to comment. So the round starts at that point. We shouldn't wait. We shouldn't look at it the way it was in previous rounds, where the round starts when you can submit. But right now, I think the model has changed. The round starts once you're able to put in, right? So if we have that framework and see, so it will now reduce the whole necessity for that whole stable period, right? Because now I get to prepare myself quite better. I can put in stuff in there. People can already start commenting on it even before I submit. So I think that reduces that whole need for the stable period.
Yep. Okay. Okay, Bill. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, indeed, this preparation week has many motivations, right? First one is for those that are not quite knowledgeable about the platform, the portal. They can go there, start creating an account, for instance, if the case, start to understanding what's going on, and then afterwards we'll put the submit where everybody will be able to see. And again, if we are willing to go in this decentralization process as well, right? We have to foster each time more having the community participating into this, giving feedback, than a centralized, even the circles being very decentralized already, we want to give more and more and more opportunity to decentralization. So that's why it's important for not only the deep funding through the marketing circle and other structures, bring more people into this comments, scoring, and etc. Also to the teams to go after and say, hey, come here, please, take a look at my proposal, see what you think. And then during these 3 weeks, make the necessary change. And again, it's very important, and we want to give this direction to the round, is to propose as soon as possible, to wait to the end of the proposal submission to do things, and then wait another, because the proposer will have 1 week more or 2 weeks more to tweak their proposal. It's not ideal from many perspectives, including resources and organization, and also length of the round. Okay, but let's see what happens during this current and process, and try to improve if the case for the next round. Okay, but again, thank you very much for your all the inputs, Ubio and Kev. Anyone else would like to? No. Okay. Highlights on new projects pool. So the purpose, populate the platform with innovative AI services, right? That's the focus. It can be a existing service. It can be a new service that you are developing. It can be a new service that is using a previous service onboarded on the platform, the marketplace, and so on. So this is the purpose of new projects. Okay, it's not meant for you to create a project, a beautiful AI project that has nothing to do with the marketplace, okay? Or to create a big project with a tiny 2% AI, okay? The size, I mean. So it's about the platform, the marketplace. It has to be onboarded in the marketplace and help the mission of the SingularityNET and Deep Funding. Okay. As you know, we have a mandatory hosting API call milestone, which is already embedded in the submission portal. So it's way easier now. Even the calculation of the 25% is there. So it's going to be very much easier to do. And please, if you have any consideration about the pools, just stop me, raise your hand, and we can discuss as well, okay? While I go through. Oh, another important point is we are aiming, since previous rounds, to have the AI part of the project delivered in the first third of the total project plan. Okay, it's eligibility requirement. If you, for instance, have your the AI part of your project to be deployed at the end, for instance, it's not going to be eligible. Okay, Kevin, please.
Yeah, so I think I just maybe confirm what you just mentioned for the new project pool. Is this pool also used for, can it be used for like to enhance existing projects that are on the SNet platform? Or is that for another pool?
To enhance, we had this before, enhancement of services that we had previously, but now you brought something that yes, yeah, okay.
You shortly good. Yeah, it's a very good question, Kevin, and I had to think for a couple of seconds as well. My first thought was, well, maybe you can do that if you will utilize more AI services or add another AI service. That would be an obvious case, I would say. But I think in the end, what we're trying to do is make the platform successful and make sure. And one way of measuring success is to have a lot of API calls or large API calls or whatever. So I would argue, but I'm just thinking this right now on the spot. I think it would be allowed if you can make a good case that this improvement will increase the number of API calls of your existing service.
Maybe like one example can be you have a proposal you put into SNet, and then you want to use this like pool, for example, to just make it more easier for people to make it more user friendly, for example, to make it more streamlined.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we are all in the same boat here in the sense that we, all of us, want you to be successful on our platform. And if you can make a good case that this enhancement of your existing solution or service will make it more successful, yeah, then I think it would be a good way. And another thing that we discussed, right, would be if you have a service on the platform, but you're now connecting it to another solution. For instance, we talked about Ocean with their predictor framework. So if you would use your service and then connect it to predictor, that would also be a clear use case. And I think another perspective, so if you say, well, I've created a front-end solution, for instance, and it uses a service, and now I want to make that front-end solution better so that we get more people in and more services will be used. I think over time, but that will happen a lot, maybe we'll have additional pool for that specific use case. I think you also have to look back in your original promise. So is this actually something that is new, or are you now selling the same thing twice and trying to get additional budget for something you should have done in the first place? So it's a little bit nuanced, I would say. But yeah, I hope you will succeed in making the platform successful and create a lot of API calls.
Yes. Tommy, before you join, just one thought here, Jan, while you are talking. I think that's the perfect case where we are going to have, because a new project is a new project, right? If it's existent or not. But for what Kevin said, the fit for the miscellaneous pool would be, and I'm going to go through, guys, afterwards, would be the case to have something that we didn't perceive before to create a pool, for instance, and then we can have this type of proposals in the miscellaneous pool, again, as I'm going to present. I think would be more streamlined to what we want to achieve than proposing something in a new project, considering it's not a new project. Tommy, please.
Yeah, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth, Rafael. I was going to play devil's advocate and say to Kevin that, well, first of all, it says new projects. That would violate the title of the pool. And the second is the purpose is to populate, and it is already populated with that. But we do have the miss category. So you took that out of my mouth. So
Nice. Well, I'm very glad to know that I think like Tom. Imagine. Ooh, big thing, big thing, big achievement for me. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. Okay, Kev. Okay, so new projects indeed, but we can use the miscellaneous that I'm going to talk further down the road about it. Okay. Ideation pool. I've been discussing about ideation pool for a while. I think that's one of the most fundamental pools that we have in deep funding because it will bring a lot of benefits for the outcome at the end of the process. I am a big fan of this pool here because it gives you financial subside for you to develop properly a project, a proposal, to analyze and assess things that in your mind could be the right way of doing, but indeed it's another way, the best way of doing it, developing proper documentation, market research, and so on. Okay, we are going to be more diligent in what you have to have in your ideation proposal. Okay, it's not going to be open. Oh, I only want to do market research in my ideation and etc. So we are going to have lines that you have to achieve there in order to make it eligible for going further. Considering even onboarding process and etc. Okay, but again, the ideation pool, it's up to you. You can go directly to the new projects if you think you will have all solved. But I would recommend for everyone to do the proper documentation and assessment through this. Besides that, it provides visibility, feedback, seed funding for further development. Seed funding being the fund that we provide. Okay, and always the ideation proposal has to have the goal of going to the new project pool, right? It's not an end in itself. It's a mean to get to the new projects pool. So this has to be very clear in the proposal, otherwise it's not going to be eligible. If we detect that the proposal is not going to attend new projects pool next round or in the next rounds, it's not going to be eligible. Okay. Going further. Marketing. This one here it brought a lot of joy because of participation of many into the discussion of what should be the case here. Last time, well, and of course the purpose is to improve, right, the visibility and growth the community of deep funding through our strategy goals. But how to do that? We discussed about having big projects, having more small projects, committing in the mid, and so on. So for this time, we are going with a higher max cap per project. Before, if you remember, we had a 5,000K for max cap. If you were able to deliver or to propose KPIs, you could go further and up to 10,000. But now we are going to have $20,000 as max cap per proposal. Okay, with a total amount for the pool of 100,000. And that's because we do believe that it's needed for having also big scale projects for marketing, for us indeed go enter the market, grants market, and tell people what we do and how we do and engage in more and more and more. So very good improvement in the max cap per proposal. So we are expecting to have very good and besides the quantity as well, proposals. Another different topic here is that these proposals are going to be assessed by like all by the expert reviewers, right? This group that we are forming, that I mentioned before. But this group are also going to be specifically for the marketing initiatives. It's going to be supported by the marketing circle, because we need certain alignment between the strategy, the marketing strategy of deep funding, and the proposals itself. Okay, why is not open without max cap per proposal? Because first, we have to be accountable for the treasury of deep funding, and to avoid any situation that might go off rail. But also because we want to give this opportunity to more people to apply and be awarded with different ways of thinking and doing things. Okay, so this assessment of the marketing marketing circle will come under the format of the expert reviews report. Okay, during the review period, as they are very good in what they do. So that's going to be very. And now we have the famous, now already famous, miscellaneous pool. This is something new that we brought because we want to see the creativity of the community flourishing. We understand that thinking among us, even though we are decentralized, we discuss a lot, we have town halls, listening sessions, discussing things. We do believe that by doing this, and we had the proof now. Kevin brought a situation where myself and Jan, for instance, we didn't expect that. That was the perfect example of why this is a very important pool. You can propose here, considering you are still focusing on supporting the marketplace and making it grow, the platform of SingularityNET and so on. You are going to be you'll be able to be more flexible and creative here. So if it's something that it's not suitable in the other pools that we create these boxes, you can come to the miscellaneous and propose. And we are not giving a max cap for it per proposal. So it's a $150,000 where you can go and ask for everything, for the whole thing. Of course, it's going to be very tough to be voted. I wouldn't suggest, but it's open to you, right? And again, proposals must still comply with overarching program standards. So everything that we discussed as a requirement, you have to apply here as well. Okay, just bringing again what Kevin said, it's pretty much aligned with what we want to have, more API calls or other things, right? So be creative, guys. Propose here. It's really something that, imagine that in the future, long-term future, we could have been, hey, we are not giving you the direction. Propose when we are mature enough, so people are being able to propose and people are being able to vote without these guardrails, because we know what to do and so on. So this might be even seen as a small experiment in this direction as well. Okay. Yeah. Any questions here? One important topic to mention is this pool also serves. Yeah, please, Tony. Don't want to bring the words from your mouth again.
A question, I don't like making assumptions, but my assumption is that there will be exclusionary language on the miscellaneous pool that no other pools, that the project or proposal could fit in no other pools. Would that be a correct assumption? And if that is, suppose I had an ideation that I want $100,000 for, and it no longer fits in the ideation pool, could it then go to the miscellaneous pool just based on a dollar cap?
That was my important, and good thing I didn't went with my important topic because it was exactly like this. I'm even more glad now with this overlapping mind. Okay, so yes, even if you have a marketing proposal that goes, and we have the marketing pool, but you need $150,000 and not only $20,000. You can come to the miscellaneous pool and propose here. Of course, people, well, again, it's a decentralized process, right? The community will see and say, oh, no, I don't think it's possible, or, well, very, very, very good. So we have also these situations where we want to give more freedom to proposers, go beyond the boxes that we create in the purpose of pools, and also in the total amounts for projects. Okay, that's two directions that we can follow here. Okay, anyone else? Nope. Okay, going forward. And now I will give the floor to Jan, because we are going to talk about RFPs, and Jan is very, very excited with this part as well, and designing and doing this perfectly. So please, Jan.
Yeah, I was still reading the slides, but no, I think this is rubbish. I think we should stop it right away. Oh, now you're going back. Okay, I'll just freewheel here anyway. RFP design. So we are working on a new process, which is pretty much decoupled from regular deep funding rounds for creating RFPs. And it comes with different stages, like you can ideate, you can specify an RFP, and then at some point the RFP will get a budget allocated to it, and will then be opened for proposals. And that way we try also to decouple not only RFPs from regular rounds, but also within the RFPs, we decouple the specification from the development. And we believe that will lead to better proposals, because teams are not just proposing the thing they happen to be good at, but we first go through a process of thinking, what is it that SingularityNET or the deep funding or the AI platform needs to grow as a separate exercise. Now, I can talk a long time about this process, but I would urge everybody to read the latest blog on deepfunding.ai, which deep dives into that topic and gives some ideation. It's not final yet, and things will change over time, but it gives a proper view of our ideas on that topic. So while this is a very separated process from deep funding round, where there's also a role for something that we will start, which is something like an RFP board, RFP Advisory Board, that will have a large say in which ideas get propagated to become an RFP and what the budgets are, etc. With proper community support. In this particular case, we also want to have this pool in a deep funding round to have at least a number of proposals getting into this RFP process, which are 100% community driven. So we invite the community to come with ideas for RFPs, but we also invite community members to rate these ideas, to give feedback on these ideas, and finally select the ones that they think are best without any involvement of that RFP board or whatever that will come later. So this is one way for the community to be completely in control of a number of ideas that will be taken to the stage of an RFP. You might ask yourself, if you have 75K, why limit it to 3 projects? Does it have to be that expensive? First, does an RFP cost 25K? Well, not necessarily. But we do want to bring those RFPs to a higher level. So you could do market research, you could have a technical design in there, you could make very specific specifications, you could collaborate with different teams and ideate on what the best outcome or what the best proposal will be. And that can take time and that can take effort and that might require a lot of expertise. To create a really good RFP is an art, is really not a simple thing. Because you need to know what you're talking about, basically. So we need teams that are knowledgeable, have expertise, and that's why we put that award out there. And arguably, for the final success of an RFP outcome, the creation and definition is maybe even more important than the development part. If we do something wrong in the specification, then it won't be a success. If we do something wrong in the development thing, we will be able to fix it, at least much easier than when we did make a mistake in the definition. So that's why we are putting, substantial awards also for the definition or the design of an RFP. And why only 3? We could have 15 RFPs of 5K, right? But if you do the math, you will see that at the end of the line, it will take a huge amount of budget because each RFP that goes out there might require budget for multiple proposals. So an RFP could have a max of 100K or 200K, or it could have a max of 50K per proposal, but with a maximum of 3 proposals being created for that one RFP. So each RFP at the end of the line can eat up a large part of our treasury. And that is why we want to limit it to 3. We want to have the 3 best ones selected and turn them into proper RFPs. And then not in the next round, most likely, but in a separate decoupled process where we will work with RFPs and submit them for proposals. Did I miss something?
No, I don't think so. Very well put. Anyone would like to make comments?
Maybe one thing here. I see that you wrote very rightly so that the deep funding team will allocate a maximum budget. So it's not up solely. We will happily let ourselves be advised by the person creating the RFP. But in the end, it's a deep funding team together with that RFP Advisory Board that we still have to create, by the way, to define the budget for the final proposals. And that will be a process. We'll talk about that at the beginning and in the middle and in the end so that there should be no surprises. Kevin.
Hey, Jan. Hey, so yeah, I was just wondering whether for this RFP design pool, will there be any will we have the same like timeline as the other pools, like the start date, then the submission date, and then the closing date for the RFPs that's
Yes,
created?
in this case, for this RFP design pool, yes. Why would you think it would be otherwise?
Oh no, I was just confirming. And
Yeah.
so once your RFP accepted in this round, then you said that the actual RFP pool, the actual RFP for proposals will actually open up in the next deep funding round.
Well, I think this needs a little bit of clarification. Now I see where your question is probably coming from. So what you will do in this round in the RFP design process is submit an idea for an RFP. You're not supposed to create the whole RFP. That will be done. You can start that after the round. So you can say, I have this great idea for a sustainability project and it will change the world and this is what we're going to do. And the RFP, you have to give some arguments why you need a certain budget. So you can say, I will hire a technical designer or an architect, and he has to work for 3 weeks on the technical design because we want to give good instructions to the proposers. And that will eat up this much of my budget, etc. Maybe you even could do a little bit of market research, or you need to dive in a certain topic to make sure that you can create a good RFP. And those will be the milestones for your project, basically. But after your RFP design proposal has been awarded, then you start the writing of the actual RFP.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Thanks for that clarification.
Good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. Okay, thank you, Kev. Thank you, Jan. But Jan, you still have, oops, no.
More work.
Yeah, oh, I think we are missing the RFP.
Well, that's no problem. I can tell
Sorry
it.
about that. Yeah, sorry about that.
We'll go in the same line. So we have this round only, at least unless I get surprised in the last few days, there might still be time. If we have the opportunity, we'll do so. But at this moment of speaking, we have one RFP. It's a very special one because it's the first community-driven RFP. Maybe you can imagine that our internal team was so tied up with token mergers and all that kind of thing. They didn't have too much time left for writing RFPs, although we do have some interesting ideas, but we'll put them forward later. But I'm very happy that we have a community-driven RFP. So that has been in the works for quite some time. It's about content knowledge graph. I won't go too much into details here. You will be able to see that on our platform. It will be published there, and you can see all the details. Another interesting thing here is that this might be, if all goes well, this will be the last round, the last regular deep funding round, where we'll have an RFP incorporated in the round. So my expectations and my hope is that after this round, we will be able to see RFPs being published, being opened for submission in a more organic, ongoing fashion. Maybe we'll bundle them a little bit, but that remains to be seen how that works exactly. So this is the last time, probably, that you will see an RFP within a regular round. Yeah, all the conditions for this RFP, etc., are in the RFP description themselves. Other than regular pools, an RFP will have more specific directions and specific specifications and requirements. So if you want to submit a proposal, and I hope you do, I hope we'll see a number of proposals for that RFP. Read the RFP very well. There are a lot of must-haves, a lot of nice-to-haves, and based on that, make a good proposal. I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too, me too. RFPs will have their life itself. It's going to be amazing, and it will increase a lot the performance and the processes of deep funding. Thank you, Jan. Okay, so we have 6 pools now, as it was discussed. And before that, anyone has questions to Jan about RFP community-driven pool? No? Okay. So after this process, after you propose, after the review period, after the voting process, we are going to announce on the June 23, the awarded teams, and then it comes the process of onboarding, right? So we are going to have an agreement, which is legal agreement, and also our official communication channel, which is Mattermost. We have a question here. Okay, no. For the milestones payment, if you are asking, we pay upon deliverable and upon deliverable delivery and approval of such milestone outcome, okay, in AGIX. In the rules itself that you are going to have in the portal, you are going to be able to see the process, how we calculate, and etc. We also have this minimum exchange rate to protect the treasury, as I mentioned before. So we have a minimum price for AGIX in order that if it drops below that amount or that price, we are going to hold the payments until the price gets back to a higher number, okay? But it's a really, we are not expecting, it's very far from this to happen, especially with the last increases in the pricing. But we need not only one, two, but we need to protect the treasury in this sense as well, okay? Going forward, yep, that's a situation. One thing, okay, it passed through. I was about to say, but it's here, the slide. We are going to have 4 contributors. And 4 contributors, we understand, by contributors, we understand those members of the community that goes in the portal, the website, comment, suggest, make critiques or suggestions in the forum, and also vote, give their score, not vote, but give its scores to the proposals, right? So these are considered contributors of the round. We are going to reward these contributors, getting back to, since the test round we didn't, now we are going to. But here's the thing, we are going to assess the contributions now. 2 rounds ago, on round 3, we had the incoming of a lot of AI feedbacks which were not contributing to the proposals. It was more aiming to get rewards and etc. Then we work 2 ways. We worked honoring what we promised about contributions, but also we gave additional rewards for those that indeed contributed with good feedback. This process, the second phase, was made by algorithmic and also manual assessment. And we are going to now implement these 2 ways of doing the assessment via the review circle process, the algorithmic and the manual assessment for the comments. We are going to have the top contributors, and there are some new things. So besides the reward in AGIX, we are going to reward 100 AGIX for each top contributors that are selected. We are going to have something new, which I believe Tommy will be happy with hearing it. We are bringing this hoodies and hats, caps to reward as contributors as well, with the Deep Funding logo and brand in it. The 10 top contributors will receive the caps, and the 5 top contributors will receive the hat and a hoodie as well, okay? Besides the AGIX, of course. So for those 5, just to clarify, the 5 top ones will receive a cap, a hoodie, and the AGIX. The 10 will receive the caps and the AGIX, and the rest of the top contributors will receive AGIX rewards, okay? Yay! This is going to be fun to have people receiving this. Of course, I have to inform, we still have logistics, right? And Unfortunately, if the territory, the region that the person is, it's not available, or if we have problems and challenges that are beyond our capacity of delivering, we will not be able to. So again, it's an experiment. I don't see much of this happening, but I would like to say that it's possible. So not something that we can solve quickly, but it's a step to doing this in a bigger way. Okay. Yeah, I guess that covers the reward, the contributors' rewards. Oh, another important thing. These top contributors eventually will be invited, some of at least, will be invited to be part of the expert review group, which is that group that will give a well, the reports about the proposals, okay? And they will review many proposals, of course, under this perspective. And it will receive, each of these expert reviewers will receive also a reward, okay? So we are talking here of a huge opportunity for contributors to make a good work when commenting and contributing and giving proper feedback. Because in the best case, it's not for all, okay, but in the best case, you are going to have a cap, a HUD from Deep Funding. You are going to receive the AGIX reward from your comments, and also the possibility of being invited to the expert review groups to give your assessment between 10 and 20 proposals, and receive a payment as well for it. Okay, so it's a big prize here for anyone that is really committed and willing to participate into that. So we are trying here, not trying, but we are giving opportunity to everyone, not only the proposers itself, but to everyone to be part, contribute, and also receive a reward from it. Okay, I'm curious to see what's happening here in the chat. Okay. Nice that people are excited. And now, yes, now we have the Q&A. Thank you very much for everyone that heard. I am seeing here that we have 1 hour, 29 minutes and 40 seconds. I had this discussion before with Judith about the 1.5 hour, and it's timely, right? Now, please, Tommy, you can start.
This question is for Jan specifically, and Rafael, you did a fantastic job today. I want to thank you, and I love the way your thinking is developing. It's becoming very mature. You're going to start getting gray hair next. Jan, in your RFP design pool, why would someone take their time to design and write an RFP request?
That's a good question. So first of all, because they can earn some money. Or maybe I should say that is second, and first should be to contribute to our ecosystem, the platform, to get a good idea that they have out. Another reason could be that they have a special need themselves for something which they can't, but they don't have development resources or skills. So that would be another reason. And now they get paid to put that idea out and have it built by somebody else. So I think that's already quite a good proposition, right? Suppose that you want to have something done. Now you get paid to write up your ideas, and then we'll pay the team that is going to build it. Now, what's not to like there? Third one or fourth one, I don't know, is we thought long and hard about this, but we will also allow people that write an RFP, that design an RFP, to still also submit a proposal. Partly because for practical reasons, because it will be very hard to block people. I mean, people can have different names, different people, etc. So it's not easy. On the other hand, there's also if you are a team and you have a lot of expertise in something and you share that through an RFP. Yeah, if you also have the capabilities like no other to build it, yeah, why would we want to stop that? So yeah, so I think there are plenty of reasons to do that.
A follow-up question is on a practical nature note, what would be the compensation for writing the RFP?
Well, we have a pool right now. So we have a pool for 75K with maximum 3 RFPs. So that already gives you a hint, right? So it would be on average 25K per RFP. But that is for this pool. It could also be 1 for 50 and 2 for a smaller amount, or 3 for 5K. I don't know. We don't have to deplete the pool per se. When it comes to the new RFP process, it will be defined on a case-by-case basis. So what will happen is that somebody comes with an idea for an RFP, and then we will have a discussion, a dialogue, where we say, okay, what do you need to create that RFP? How much time is involved? And what will the RFP like? And I can imagine there will be RFPs of 1A4 that will actually not require more than 1 or 2K even. Well, that's very low, but could be. Whereas an RFP that really requires in-depth technical design and whatnot might require a higher amount. But we will also put conditions to these RFPs. So if we put an amount there, a budget, we will also put some conditions, say, okay, you'll get 25K, but the final RFP has to contain these and these chapters, and we expect diagrams on this and this many pages. I don't know. Something that we think makes sense. And now for this RFP design pool in this round, it's up to the community to decide whether a proposal for an RFP is believable, if it is reliable, if it is sophisticated enough, and if there's a good balance between the amount people ask and the effort that they will put in. Ubio. Yeah, is that correct? Does that satisfy you? Good. Great. Thank you. Ubio, my friend.
Yeah, I noticed that in the design the RFP design pool, you did not put in, so is part of that requirement, is it for the team that is actually designing, for them to actually put in the amount of money for that pool or for that RFP, being that, again, you talk about the fact that someone else would still, like the RFP team plus the probably maybe the RFP board will be the one to define what that amount is. So I'm just a little bit confused there. So as someone designing the RFP, will the person still put in the amount that for in that RFP as part of the requirements as that, or there is no place for budget in while you're designing? Because whatever you're designing is always good. Maybe you estimate what the budget is, so that the requirements can as well match that, right? So that's just one thought here.
Yeah.
Also, okay.
Shall I react to this first, and then you can go to the
Sure.
next point? Otherwise, I have a bad memory. I'll also get gray hair. So, so the tricky thing is, I could write an RFP and ask for 5K to write that RFP, and then put in that RFP, okay, we are looking for proposals, and the max cap is 10 million. And then I'm going to propose myself, of course.
Yeah.
So the final say on the budget, on the treasury, the budget for a round is on the deep funding team. So we need to balance these things a little bit. So we need to also balance the pipeline. We have to make sure that the pipeline of RFPs that come in are balanced with the treasury that we think is wise to spend. And yeah, I don't think we can set upfront restrictions or whatever. It will be a little bit of common sense. But it's possible. So there is a scenario here where a team will write an RFP and we'll have a dialogue and we'll say, well, we think that this RFP would not warrant more than 100K max cap. And that the team says, no, it is an RFP for projects of 5 million. Yeah, and then in the end, we will decide that we won't pay more than 100,000 for this RFP. And then if the team says, well, then we won't publish it, so be it.
Yeah. I just wanted this clarity to be brought into the conversation. The second part I would like another clarity to be brought into the conversation is I would like you to speak to what that RFPs so when we talk about RFPs, I think people there is an idea of it being extremely technical, and so I would just want to speak to what a typical RFP can be, and not necessarily, and what an RFP is that can be non-technical as well. Just something around, because I just want to get people to sense, to understand that um, they can contribute their ideas as an RFP as well. And it must not be something about maybe one big content graph project at all time and all that. So that's just what I wanted to see if you can speak to that.
Yeah, thank you. There are two sides to this. First of all, I think by having the RFPs as a separate process, whether in a pool or in the regular or the new RFP process, brings opportunities for people that are not that technical. Because you don't have to be a developer to start a very interesting proposal. So I hope to see different people coming in, maybe with less technical skills, but with great ideas that will be able to participate in deep funding that way. And that will be able to connect maybe later on with a technical team that can develop it and maybe also join that team as an advisor or whatever. So it's about collaboration, and it's also about bringing creativity in. Having said that, there's another aspect to an RFP. A good RFP should enable a development team to make a realistic estimate. So it might be in some cases that you will make a very technical description, because that's the best way for a developer to make a good estimate. He needs specific details on the requirements to know what is expected. But it depends. I can imagine there are also RFPs that leave open more room for the developer to bring in their creativity and to decide for themselves how they want to attack a certain problem. And I can imagine that we were talking about costs and budgets for an RFP before, that the kind of RFP where you focus more on an idea and you leave a lot of creativity for the team to make specifications themselves will usually require less time than an RFP where you really need to go in depth and create a whole architecture diagram and APIs and protocols, and then say, this is the part here and that whole thing that we expect you to do. So it's connected also with the time that you need to create that RFP and the reward that you will get for it. But I would say, and that is very important, I think this will offer a place and a project for everybody to get and be involved in deep funding. All right.
Yeah, great. Yeah, seeing that we're 15 minutes over time, let's have another check in the room. If there's any more questions, now is your time to ask them. And if not, then
I think there are some questions
we
in
would
the
like,
chat room. Okay, Peter's hands is up.
yeah, Peter, go
Yeah,
ahead.
first of all, sorry, joining late. I'm not sure if it was touched on earlier, but can the RFPs also result in an ideation request, or is it like a requirement for like a platform service deliverable tied to it, or just wondering. But if it was touched earlier, sorry.
It doesn't have to be a new something for the new projects pool, in the sense that it definitely needs to require the utilization of an AI. It could also be tooling, for instance, around the platform. But I don't really see an RFP being created for marketing and an ideation. So it's interesting that you bring up ideation project. There is some similarities between an ideation pool and the RFP design pool. But in the ideation pool, you're creating something for yourself. So here's my idea. I want to flesh it out a little bit. And then in the next step, I'm going to build this, perhaps with the help of some people that I will collect around me. Whereas in the RFP pool, you're designing something, but it will be published and anybody can submit a proposal, and it's up to the community to decide who will be awarded. So if you think that if you're to get an assignment in, you could get surprised by competition that turns out to have even better ideas or a better team or more experience than you have. Other questions? I understand this is a new concept and it requires a little bit of explanation. I'm actually very happy with these questions. Yeah, let's keep them coming also on social media after today, etc. If there are any questions, please let me know. I'm pretty sure these kind of things need to be explained a couple of times more often.
And thank you, Duke, for your comment in the chat. I do believe we have someone to edit the video, but if we need help, we will definitely reach out, and really thank you for offering it. It's greatly appreciated.
And remove all that interesting content. Isn't that a bit of a pity?
No.
I was just getting into it, but
All right, everyone. Is there any more questions? Don't mention the hoodies, Peter. Yeah, let's cut out the bit about the hoodies. It makes us too popular.
Yeah, I think Judith, we're going to make these hoodies real collector's item, right? So one of a kind, Deep Funding Round 4, you were there, you were the top contributor in Deep Funding Round 4. It will never come back again. So you have to frame it, hang it on your wall.
Let's make it like an NFT, man.
Yes, exactly, Hugo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make them a collector's item, but it sounds like everybody else still wants a hoodie, so we might have to build a whole warehouse and have
Imagine
a hoodie operation.
Imagine 10 years from now, there's this seminar on SingularityNET and deep funding, which by then is 10 times bigger than Google and OpenAI together today, of course. We all know that.
Of course.
And there's this guy coming into that room with this old sweater, which has been washed 100 times, but it says deep funding, expert contributor, deep funding round 4. He will be the hero of that event. Everybody wants to have his autograph and a picture.
Absolutely, yes. He'll be on stage.
I'm gonna make a hoodie for myself that says Deep Funding Round 1.
Fake news, fake news.
That's why we have NFTs, right? To avoid this type of situation. NFTs, it's for that.
Yeah.
All right. Continue next week. No need to wait 2 weeks. We're going to continue next week at 18 UTC. Rafael, remind me of the topic.
Yeah.
We were gonna
exactly. I forgot to say, but next week, guys, on the next town halls, we are going to be talking about the right way or the best way to propose, right? Going through the portal, explaining after you already went there, of course, but best practices would be the topic on the next town hall. Okay, today was about rules and what's going on and so on. Next time about what to do to be an awarded team.
Nice. So everybody on that call is gonna get a little unfair advantage because you're gonna get all the secret tips on how to apply. That's right.
Exactly, Judith.
All right, Rafael, phenomenal work today. Thank you. Jan as well. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you for being patient. Thank you for still being here almost 2 hours later. We really do have the best community. With that being said, enjoy your evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you are. And we will see you hopefully next week.